for episode 4 of Striking From Home is a 2-time PBA titleist, pro shop operator, and my very first guest who does not use their thumb, better known as Rebel Tom Daugherty. How's it going, Tom?
Hey, man. How are you doing?
Good. It's been a real good week so far. I hope you can say the same.
It's Wednesday. I'm playing golf tomorrow, so it's going to get better.
There you go. I like that, always. So I have some questions for you, Tom, so we can kind of dive into that. My first question for you is, what's the most interesting or exciting thing that you've done since the shutdown began?
Well, we haven't done much. Florida was locked down there for a little while, but just played a lot of golf and spent some time with the kids, gone to the beach a few times once they opened those, but nothing really exciting yet. We had the PBA stop in Jupiter, so Sean Maldonado actually came to my house for the weekend, and I was able to drive him over there and get to watch that. So that was probably the most exciting thing I've done. Haven't left the house much other than, like I said, golf and the beach and do some work at the bowling center. But going over there, that was pretty cool to watch the tape show and then actually be part of the live show. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I definitely enjoyed those shows. And so we recently got the official announcement from the PBA Tour that the PBA League will be returning in late September. How are you planning on preparing for that?
Yeah, that's kind of funny because I found out we didn't have – well, at least I didn't have any notice either. So when Coley announced it during the female draft part, that's when I found out we were going. She kind of was very vague about – we want to go back to Bayside, but she's not guaranteeing it because of obviously state mandates and stuff.
Yes.
I really hope we get to go back to Bayside. It won't be the same if we don't go to Bayside. I would imagine if we don't go to Bayside, we'd go back to Jupiter. It seems like for whatever reason, that's an easy access for them. It's a Bolero center, so at least I would get to drive to it, but I would still rather travel to Maine and be part of that Bayside experience. It's awesome. So I took some time off. I'm actually going to start next week. I'm going to start a lot of practice, and we have a regional next weekend. And I haven't really done much bowling. And so starting Monday, I'm going to be back at it pretty hard all week and try to get ready for that regional. And then I'll just keep going forward from there. And I'll be ready by September for sure.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's great news. And I really, fingers crossed, on it being in Maine and being in late September. That's a big hope for all the fans and all the bowlers I know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be – those dates are probably locked in. She's probably locked them in with Fox, so I don't see the dates changing. It's just my assumption if we don't go to Bayside, it would go to Jupiter. We could go any Bolero center in the country, but it's Bayside and it's the team event at Bayside. Yes. So I really hope we get to go back there.
Absolutely. So kind of speaking about the PBA League as well, once again for another year you're with the Silver Lake Atom Splitters. So kind of tell us, what is that feeling like to be a part of that for another year?
Well, I mean, they keep keeping me around. I don't know what it is.
Must be pretty good.
Yeah, I guess Bakes likes having me in there. They kid me all the time that no matter what the situation, I'm always going to bowl the 9th frame. So I'm 4th and 9th, and I've done a pretty good job at setting up the anchor position. When Dick Allen bowled with him, if you ask him, he'll tell you that I won him the MVP because I had to do for whatever reason, whatever I had to do, whether either strike to give him a chance to win or miss, so he had to show up in the 10th. Whatever it was, I did it. And then a couple years ago, I did basically the same thing with Barnes. I had a chance to win the match with a strike, and I would miss, and then Barnes would have to do something to strike. And so, it's just a great chemistry. Me, Barnes, and Jesper, we have a great time together, and it just seems with our personalities, no matter who Bakes picks, we gel together. So I hope he just keeps the core together, and so far it's been good, and I love the team, so I hope I get to stay on it for as long as I can. Absolutely.
Yeah, very well said. And I know that you spoke on this earlier too. The PBA added 2 new teams to the league, the women's teams. They are the Phoenix Fury and Miami Waves. So how do you feel about the PBA adding those teams?
I think it's a phenomenal idea. We had a meeting before the season started when they talked about going from 40 players to 50 players, as they did, to add the 2 extra teams, and I was totally against that. I didn't think that was a good idea, whatever. And I remember saying at that meeting, that I would rather them have 2 women teams or 2 amateur teams as opposed to adding players, let's say 41 through 50 on the point list. I didn't think that that would be as impactful as adding 2 women's team. And I did say that. I did voice my opinion at the meeting. I don't know if Cole, she was in the meeting. I don't know if Coley took that to heart, but I just think that's bigger for the event than adding 2 more just men's teams, because I just, it's like the Masters at golf. They don't just let anybody bowl. You have to qualify for that. And sometimes exclusivity is the highlight of the tournament, and that team event became that. I mean, everybody wanted to be part of that. The Weber Cup has that thing going for them where it's only 5 guys and everybody wants to be on that. So if they just open it up and they keep adding teams, I think that's a horrible thing. But the fact that they added 2 women's team, I think is going to be awesome. Unfortunately, I think those 2 teams are really, really good. So I think we got our hands full to try to beat them. I mean, that's the top 10 women bowlers in the world, all teamed up together, and I would not be surprised at all if one of them goes very far in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking on the exclusivity, we saw that with Andrew Anderson a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He was literally Randy Peterson and Bill O'Neill. They were commentating on during the draft, and they chose him every round to be picked, and he never got picked.
Yeah, I know.
He wanted to be part of that.
And I think that's what made it so awesome. The fact that we only had 40 players and we had 80 to choose from. So I'm totally against. Obviously, it's great that we did it, but it would have not got my vote for sure. I would have liked to stayed with the 40, but I do like the added 10 women. I think that's awesome, and they deserve to be there.
Absolutely. So, kind of change subjects here for the last question I got for you. How does it feel to look back on the 2011 Tournament of Champions when you shot 100 on TV? How does that feel?
I wish I could say I don't get asked that a lot, but I do get asked that a lot. It happened. It is what it is, and it's something that comes up weekly, whether it be in the shop. I have the bowling ball that I use to bowl the game in the pro shop, so people talk about it all the time. Or if someone bowls a really bad game, I'm like, man, that person still beat me by 20 pins. I don't know how that happened, but it jump-started my career. For the tournament itself was just. I mean, it was the very first tournament in my professional career that I sponsored myself, and it was the most money that I've ever won. So I was not bowling at all on tour when that happened. I only bowled 3 tournaments that year. That was the first one. And after that year, because I made that money, I started bowling again full time, and it was because of having the bankroll to do it. So everything about the tournament was awesome. Mika kind of choked a little bit and only shot 299. It would have been a better story if he bowled 300. So I give him a hard time about that all the time. But, I would have been more upset if I bowled phenomenally and bowled 250 and lost. I bowled 100, and the guy bowled 299. So it didn't matter, if I would have bowled 250 and lost, I would have probably been more upset than I was and what it was. I had a lot of fun, and it is what it is. I wasn't going to win that game anyway, so it doesn't bother me.
Well, and here's a shout-out for your pro shop. Be sure and stop by his pro shop. I don't know exactly what city it's in, but there is that 100 ball on display. I have seen it. Where is your pro shop at?
It's in Brandon, Florida. It's at a bowling center called Oakfield Lanes, right there in Brandon, and it's on display, so people come in and take pictures of it. And I'm waiting for it to crack. I mean, it's been sitting there so long, and it's not too far from the window, and there's balls underneath it, used balls that have cracked before. And for some reason, this ball will not crack. I want it to crack so I can get rid of it, but it's not going anywhere.
Oh, man. Okay, so real quick, shout out for the shirt that I'm wearing.
That's a nice shirt.
Yes.
I got to talk to Flanagan because I've seen a lot of those shirts, and I can't remember where we were, but Mike and I were talking about that specific shirt. And he has a guy that designs all the shirts, but they couldn't come up with the right saying. And they had a big slash through resin or whatever. And I was like, let's do not resin. And then let's, for the O, put the urethane fab ball logo in there. And he's like, that's a great idea. We've never talked about it since. I've seen the shirt. I don't know if he gives me credit for it or not. Flanagan, I've never seen a royalties check or nothing.
Yes,
I don't know if he will admit to that. I would like to get him on record that I don't want no money, but I want him to at least admit that shirt was my idea, because that's by far one of his coolest shirts that he has.
Mike Flanagan, Tom Daugherty is waiting for his royalty checks in the mail.
Yeah.
You know.
He doesn't even have to give me a check. Just the acknowledgement that, yes, that is the shirt that I designed.
Okay. And by the way, purple is the best color ever for this shirt. I have to admit.
It is pretty good. I prefer the black one, but it is what it is.
All right, so now I have a little mini game planned for you. So the way that we do mini games on this series is based on the PBA League team. So your league team is the Silver Lake Atom Splitters, and so I've got some Silver Lake Atom Splitters related trivia. So the cool thing about your jerseys on the Atom Splitters is on the back of the jersey is their name, but every name has an element that is highlighted on it. So for last year, the 2019 Atom Splitters, as you see his reaction, he probably isn't very confident in this right now. But the Silver Lake Atom Splitters had Jesper Svensson, DJ Archer, Chris Barnes, AJ Johnson, and of course Tom Daugherty last year. And each one had an element on the back of their jersey. So you are to get what those elements stand for. And each one you get right, you get a point. Each one you get wrong, you get 0 points. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so the first one is Jesper Svensson. On the back of his jersey, the N, the capital N, is the element. What does that stand for on the periodic table?
Man, is nitrogen an element?
It is nitrogen. You're right. That is 1 point for Tom.
Yes.
There you go. Off to a great start here. All right, so the next one is DJ Archer. And on his jersey, the AR, it's capital A, lowercase r, is the element. What is that element?
I don't.
Off to a great start, and just
I have no idea on that one.
You don't know?
Let's see, AR. Let's go with arsenic. Even though that's not an element, it's a good guess.
Argon is the correct answer.
I would have never got that ever. You could have spelled it out, and I probably still wouldn't have got it.
Okay, well, let's see if you can get Chris Barnes's. On the back of his jersey, the BA for Barnes, capital B, lowercase a, is highlighted. What does BA stand for on the periodic table?
I'm going to go with badass.
Although I wish that was true. I wish it was true. Unfortunately, that is incorrect.
That's why I keep getting drafted. See, I say stuff like that, and I get to saved on the team. So hopefully Chris hears that. That's what it stands for, badass.
Yes. Well, BA on the periodic table is barium, although your answer was incredible. And I will say he is the most talked about person on this series, because when asked, AJ Johnson said the person that he wants to beat the most for his first title is Chris Barnes. Other than Belmo, but Chris Barnes.
That's awesome. I always wanted to bowl Pete Weber on TV. I actually bowled Barnes and I beat him, so I didn't bowl him for the title, but I did beat Barnes. I always wanted to bowl Pete Weber. I thought that would be an awesome match, but yeah.
I feel like you have Mika Kovaniemi's number, now. Like I feel like you have it out for him now.
The bad part is I'm gonna have to beat him like 12 times before I even the score.
That's funny. That is, that's probably true.
Yeah, think about it. And that's beating him pretty good 12 times.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so the next one is AJ Johnson. So for the word Johnson, the H is highlighted. What does H stand for on the periodic table?
Hydrogen?
It is hydrogen. You're right. That's 2 points for Tom so far. One question to go. All right. I really hope that you know this one. Okay, the last one is for the back of Tom Daugherty's jersey. The back of your jersey, the AU, capital A, lowercase u, is highlighted. What does AU stand for on the periodic table?
Well, that's easy because it's my jersey. It obviously stands for gold.
Yes, sir. That is 3 correct points for Tom Daugherty. And I feel like you definitely planned that out with whoever designed the jerseys to make sure you got the gold.
I just think they knew. They knew better.
Yeah, they knew,
They didn't want to put a big B on the back of my jersey, so they put AU instead.
Maybe they'll put BA,
There you go.
But yes, so that kind of pretty much concludes the episode for today. Is there anything else that you would like to say?
No, man. Just thanks for having me on. You guys do a great job. You do a great job. So
Thank you.
hopefully people watch it, and hopefully Flanagan replies. That's the most important thing at this point. But
Yes.
no, anytime we get to do it, something like this, it's always fun. So I appreciate you asking.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciate you joining me for episode 4. I'm really excited. Everybody watching, be sure to subscribe. Episode 5 will be out next week. And I'm just really excited to keep this going and see where it takes me,
All right, man. Good luck, man. I hope everything goes good. I'll make sure I share it for you.
Thank you so much. You have a great one.
All right, buddy. You too.